delivering on the faith that they have given me, the faith that they have given this campaign, and now the faith that they have put back into the city of New York. And we will now deliver on that faith by transforming the most expensive city in the United States of America into one that 8.5 million people can actually afford. Thank you very much.
All right. Questions on the record. What kind of reaction are you hearing or getting surrounding about the meeting?
You know, I've been heartened by the responses I've received from New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs who were encouraged to see the focus on cost of living and the affordability crisis that so many are facing in this city, because too often when two politicians meet, the conversation rarely extends beyond them. And what we found instead is that this was a conversation that was productive, a conversation that was focused on New York City, and a conversation that looks to deliver for the people of New York City.
2 questions, Mayor. One, how are you feeling coming out of it, the meeting with President Trump? How do you envision the relationship between you two moving forward? And secondly, are you confident that he is not going to send the troops into New York?
I'm feeling good coming out of that meeting. I thought it was a productive meeting, and I appreciated that in that meeting it went back to cost of living, cost of living, cost of living. We spoke about things that all of us have been paying attention to for quite some time, whether we're speaking about housing or public transit or childcare. We even spoke about ULURP and the importance of regulatory changes to make it easier to build far more housing in New York City because of the low vacancy rate that we have. And I think at the heart of it, again and again, came back to the recognition that what New Yorkers are desperate for, no matter at what level of politics they're thinking about, is some relief from a cost of living crisis. That is at the heart of that conversation, at the heart of the work, and I look forward to continuing that conversation, to delivering for New Yorkers.
Are you confident that the troops are not coming to the city?
I'm confident that we're establishing a productive relationship, one that was based on that meeting and one that I continue to hope to have.
Mayor, I'd like 2 questions for you today. Good morning.
Good morning.
How long do you think this could last? We know that the president and things in Washington and frankly in politics can change so quickly. I have another question for you.
You know, I can only take things one meeting at a time, one conversation at a time. And all I hope to do in that conversation was to establish a working relationship and to have a productive meeting that focused on the work itself, focused on the people that many of the two of us know, and people across these 5 boroughs that we've never met, but all of whom are New Yorkers, all of whom are hopeful of a city where they can do more than just struggle.
On this question of the federal troops, I wonder if you spoke specifically about immigration enforcement, because while we're not seeing sort of the large-scale action that we're seeing across other U.S. cities, ICE is here. They are making arrests. People are getting picked up. ICE officers are breaking into people's homes, and people are afraid. Did you talk about that specifically at all? And did you talk to him about the fact that we are seeing this enforcement already?
Yes, we did speak about immigration, and I shared with the president directly that New Yorkers, we want to follow the laws of our city. And the laws of our city say that in our sanctuary city policies that city government can be in touch with the federal government on around 170 serious crimes. The concern comes from beyond those crimes. The many New Yorkers who at this moment are being arrested, they're being detained, they're being deported for the crime of showing up to a regular court appearance at 26 Federal Plaza, for the crime of simply being present in New York City. And how my focus as the next mayor of the city is going to be to protect immigrants who call the city their home and to deliver public safety to each and every New Yorker who lives across these 5 boroughs.
When the president was asked about those types of arrests, people getting arrested inside courtrooms, he said that ICE has not gone far enough. So does he agree with you on those 170 crimes and that maybe people should not be getting picked up in that way?
I'll let the president speak for himself, but I did make very clear that our focus comes back to public safety, delivering for each and every New Yorker, and knowing that there may be disagreements between the president and myself, and they will continue to be, and I will always make the case for each and every person that calls the city home.
Yeah, right here.
Mr. Mamdani, how are you?
How's it going?
It's going all right. 2 questions to move back from the national to the local. We know there's more elections next year, and Richie Torres' spot is up. Would you support Richie Torres in a primary, or would you support Michael Blake, who's out here to support today? They're hanging out, I guess.
Michael is a friend. I appreciated having his introduction here at church, and I've also made no formal endorsements in any races, and I'll let you know as soon as I do.
Thank you.
All right, Mayor-elect, on the topic of affordability, do you have a blueprint for lowering Con Ed rates, specifically property tax reductions to option?
You know, it was a point of conversation with the president, was the nature in which New Yorkers are being priced out, not just by public transit rising costs, not just by rent, not just by childcare, but also by utilities. And the fact that every year those utility costs only seem to rise, no matter what happens with other costs across the board. And this will continue to be a focus for myself, and also I anticipate a conversation that I will continue to have with the president.
No specifics yet on what we're going to do.
As soon as I have them, I'll share.
All right, we'll go news forward.
What's the first significant hat New Yorkers can expect from you when you take office?
That we will have a city hall that is ready and prepared to deliver from day one. And that is what we are spending this transition doing. And one of the most recent decisions we made to retain Commissioner Tisch was one that actually came up in the conversation that I had with President Trump. It was one that he saw, as do I, as do many New Yorkers, as a reflection of the importance we're placing on public safety and the importance of continuing the results we've seen under Commissioner Tisch's leadership of lowering crime across the 5 boroughs.
Yeah, we'll go Fox Star right now.
Hello. So with the meeting, a lot of people were surprised about the nature of it. Just to, put it in layman's terms, a lot more friendly than maybe some people had expected, given comments on both sides, but frankly also just some differences politically. Were you surprised at the tone of the meeting?
I was appreciative of the tone and the fact that both of us were looking to have a productive meeting. And I appreciated the president not only having me in the Oval Office alongside my chief of staff, but also giving us a tour of the cabinet room where we saw a portrait of FDR. And as we looked at that portrait, I spoke about how the New Deal was transformative for this country. And I shared my belief that Fiorello LaGuardia was the greatest mayor in New York City's history. And you cannot tell the story of LaGuardia without telling the story of his relationship with FDR. And the potential for a federal government and a municipal government to work together to deliver on dignity for working people. That's at the heart of the campaign that we run. That has to be at the heart of the work that we do.
Yeah, we'll go right back here.
Walaikum salam, how are you?
Good to see you. So, I think a lot of people online after this meeting considered that somebody had won and somebody had lost in this meeting. At least that's how it's interpreted. Did you feel like there were winners and losers in this conversation? And how do you move forward with future conversations with the president, considering the winning and the losing of this political game?
I think it was New Yorkers that won in this conversation. It was a conversation that came back again and again to the people of the city. And I actually spoke to the president about the fact that while our campaign began on October 23rd, a moment when many started to pay attention to my candidacy was in fact after the president won his election. And we went to Fordham Road and Hillside Avenue, 2 of the neighborhoods that saw the largest swings towards the president in that general election. And what we heard from Trump voters then were that they were focused on cost of living, cost of living, cost of living. And I told the president that in our own campaign, we saw that 1 in 10 Trump voters actually voted for us. And they spoke again about that cost of living focus. And that's what we spoke about, that's what we focused on, and that's who I believe won, is New Yorkers who are concerned about that cost of living and want leadership to actually not only speak about it, but to start to actually work on it.
Yeah, right. Oh, did you have a question? All right, Zach, we'll go over here.
In the Oval, you said that you firmly believe that Trump is fascist. That was after posing some photos with him smiling, shaking hands. Do you believe that's the way to deal with fascism?
I think the responsibility I have as the mayor of this city is to work with anyone who can help to alleviate the affordability crisis and deliver dignity to each and every person that calls the city home. And I think it is critically important to both be honest about our own opinions, our own assessments, and be committed to working with anyone who could further that work.
All right, any other questions?
Yeah, I just got one follow-up question real quick. I know that you and Richie Torres disagree about Israel. What would you see? Would you see a way to maybe work with him on that if you were to support him in a primary, or is it? I know you said you're not going to endorse that, but I mean, the Israel thing is I'm sorry, man. I got to do it.
No, you got to do it.
I mean, is the Israel thing a real big barrier for you? You just said you would work with anyone to help make the city affordable.
I will work with anyone to make the city affordable, and I will always be honest about my own opinions and my beliefs, and one of those comes back to the sanctity of international law and the importance of adhering to human rights, and I know that New Yorkers care deeply about that, and my job will be to follow through on the agenda of my campaign while always being honest about who I am, and as soon as I make any announcements on endorsements, I'll be sure to share.
All right, thank you.